All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I've got Melissa here tonight to talk about Rise from Ruin. Really excited to have you on the show, Melissa. Thanks for joining me.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I have been looking forward to this all week. It's been a
Yeah,
week already, so this is gonna be
yeah.
fun.
It's been good. Apologies. I'm recovering from some sort of flu. So if we go on mute, it's probably because I'm snuffling or something. So,
And my
yeah.
kids brought home the crud, so here we are sniffling. We're doing so great, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that time of winter. Looks like we've got a few people, Gary, Lance, Jen. Yeah, a few people have joined us. So thanks for joining, everybody. We'll just go ahead and get going. So, Melissa, you and I connected after I did the interview with Casey Azell, and you're part of Feral Ladies. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about Feral Ladies and what that is and
So
enlighten us all?
what had happened was I met Casey Azell time math years ago, and then I met Marisa, and they knew each other. And at some point, we just all decided to share a single brain cell. And we formed the Feral Ladies, which is, we have a podcast and we do a lot of marketing stuff together. And basically, at some point, we'll just be the Golden Girls living, together because awesomeness.
Yeah.
But we've, I think Casey and Marisa met a long time ago. They did Dragon Riders of Pern fan fiction together. I met Casey through some Dragon Con friends, and then we ended up deploying to Iraq together back in the Air Force days.
Yeah.
It's a real small Air Force, y'all. And then we just kind of bounced around each other and reconnected with, being authors and hanging out together. And we just have so much fun together. And we do the Feral Ladies podcast usually on Wednesdays on our YouTube channel. So maybe you can hang out with us sometime.
I'm totally gonna have to come hang out with you guys. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a fun group. Sounds like it's a friend group that was meant to be. And I won't be surprised if someday you guys all are living in a castle in the middle of, somewhere.
Compound of awesome, y'all. It's going to happen. Hi, Marisa. And Steffi. Yay.
Yeah, we've got a few people on. So thanks for joining, everybody. Make sure you lock and load your questions because we're going to have a question period for the audience. So get your questions ready to go. And who wouldn't want to live in a castle, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could have a moat. We could have like a pack of dire wolves because those are a thing now. I'm very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll keep the solicitors away. A pack of dire wolves. Yeah.
Right. The husbands could have fun blowing things up. I see no downsides to this plan.
No, none at all. Catapults. I think catapults.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. This could be fun. Dragons and griffins included. I think that is key.
100% approve of this plan.
Yeah. Well, let's dig into the book. So we're talking about Rise from Ruin, and I'm gonna give a little bit of the background. I'm not giving away more really than the first chapter and kind of the back of the book stuff. So this is not a lit RPG book. It's a fantasy. It's a dragon and griffin riding fantasy. So definitely, I felt the Dragon Riders of Pern. I've been a big fan. I've read almost all of the books multiple times. Right? Yeah. We were even talking about how we're probably, just superficially in the same generational sort of, time frame. I think all of us maybe read Dragon Riders of Pern and wished we could be Dragon Riders. Yeah. So the main character of this series is Harper. And she's at the top of her class in dragon riding college or training. And she's getting ready to get her dragon. She's got her dragon egg that she goes and visits, and she's kind of waiting for it to hatch. And her friends and her are all very competitive. They're all very top of the class. They're playing practical jokes on each other. And her friends swap her dragon egg for a griffin egg, and it hatches and imprints on her. And so then her life takes this really sharp turn away from dragon riding to griffin riding. And instead of being this like prestigious dragon rider, she's kind of a like scout griffin rider or griffin partner. And she has to relearn everything she knows. She goes from the very top to the very bottom, and she has to navigate a whole new social structure that she once looked down on.
I gotta watch out for that arrogance there.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because she has to eat a little bit of that, like socially, and kind of relearn these dynamics. And then her old like Dragon Rider friends have to reassess everything they think about,
Mhm.
Griffin riders and stuff. It's a very interesting, fun journey. So yeah. Anything you want to add to that kind of brief overview of the book?
So one of the key things that I carry through both book one and the sequel is the tendency of military folks to pull pranks on each other when we're bored. And Harper and those three morons, those friends of hers, there was nothing malicious there. Just so y'all know, they're morons, to be clear.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you guys want to find out who started that prank war, Harper, there is a free short story on Bane.com called This Means War. And
Okay.
kind of gives you the background of how all of that began.
So she started the ball of her own ruin.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah. No, that's great. I'll have to look up the short story because this book does kind of leave you wondering about like how that all started. You could tell, it's those pranks that you pull on your friend group where you're tight and you want to make it embarrassing,
And fun.
although you don't expect to ruin somebody's career that way. Yeah.
No, they didn't mean for that to happen, but boy, does she make them sweat and earn her forgiveness for that.
Yeah. As you would, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty major life
Right.
event. So, well, Melissa, I'm using Melissa, but how would you like us to address you at the next con when we see you in person? Do you go by Melissa?
The Lady of Griffins will be acceptable, but Melissa's fine.
The Lady of Griffins.
Griffin Lady? I don't know.
All right. And can you help me out? How exactly do you pronounce your last name? Because I think I've been getting it wrong this entire time.
So easiest way is just ignore the H. The H does not exist, you guys. It's just Olthoff.
Olthoff. Okay.
Ignore the H.
Apologies. I absolutely have been mispronouncing your name. So, all right. So Melissa Olthoff. All right. Ignore the H. So we've got a question already from Bill. He wants to know, were fighter pilots the model of Dragon Riders with ego?
Bill is cheating a little bit because he knows the answer is absolutely yes. Because spoiler alert, I'm actually married to a former fighter pilot, so there are some things that I learned from observation.
Maybe crossed over, yeah. Can't help but put a little bit of our real life experience in there. Won't reveal how much. Well, let's dig into the book a little bit. We've already talked about Dragon Riders of Pern and Anne McCaffrey. It sounds like that may have influenced you a little bit.
No, not at all. You guys, I remember I was in 7th grade. Time math years ago. We're not doing the math, but my English teacher very wisely told me I could not do my book report on Goosebumps or Animorphs, whichever one it was that I was obsessed with. She's like, go to the bookstore, go to the library, pick something from the adult section to do your book report on.
Yeah.
So my dad took me to the bookstore because he had a line in his budget for books because he was awesome, right? And I saw that amazing cover for Dragonflight, and I was like, yep, this is coming home with me. And I also saw the amazing cover for The Black Griffin by Mercedes Lackey and Larry Dixon. And that also came home with me that day. So those were the first 2 adult sci-fi and fantasy books that I read, and they were foundational for everything. I literally joined the Air Force because I wanted to be a Green Dragon Rider, y'all. I mean, changed the course of my life.
Yeah. That's awesome. You can see Mercedes Lackey in there too, right? With the Griffin bond. Totally get that. I think everybody, I don't, maybe Vladimir, like all of the Mercedes Lackey's books and McCaffrey, I think I've read all of them at least a couple times. So yeah, if you are of that like bend and you like those books, read this book, you guys. Yeah, heavily influenced. So let's talk about Griffin. So you go with Griffin, which unlike Mercedes Lackey, right? So let's talk about why spell it Griffin.
We talked about this like before we started the show, you guys, because I was like, we need to bring this up. So 12-year-old Melissa did not know that Gryphon was another spelling for griffins. I was like, Gryphon? What's a Gryphon? And then I quickly realized what it was, but at that point it was too late because that is now how my brain interprets that word every time.
Yeah.
So I went with the American spelling for griffins so it wouldn't mess up my brain while I was writing these books.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll make the audio a bit easier to listen to if you're not expecting Gryphon. Too. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's good.
We need I saw a post a while ago that readers need a hotline that you can call where it's some lovely grandmother type person where you could call and ask them, how do you pronounce this word?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's like those TikToks where they're like, Lord went to the the readers versus the audiobook listeners.
The white noise because your brain goes, I don't know how to say that.
No idea how to say that. Yeah. Yeah. I actually, one of my books I was going to do some Elven name that was long, and I had it in there. And at some point somebody was like, okay, how do you pronounce this, Reck? And when I couldn't answer the question, that was the moment I decided to just Control F and change the name, because
there's your side.
Yeah. It's I do not want to be in a podcast and have to make up the name to my secondary.
And what if you say it differently every time? It could actually be a little bit fun, but
yeah. Goals, maybe. Well, I was momentarily disappointed when I was reading the book that Harper didn't actually become a dragon rider.
So was she.
Right. Yeah. I actually didn't, because I knew I was going to interview you, and this was the book. You're like, read this book. And I picked it up and I just didn't read the back of the book. I was just like, I'm going to read this book. But I mean, honestly, Felix the Griffin ends up being very likable. And I really, once I got into it, I didn't mind that Harper wasn't on the back of a dragon so much. But what made you decide to not just go with dragon riders and to do griffins? And do you have dragon riding more in your future as a writer, or how did you make that decision?
So y'all, this is a glimpse into the insanity that is a writer's brain. I had no intention of writing a griffin story because I was going to write a dragon rider story. I actually joined the Air Force, like I said, to fly. I wanted to be a pilot because, shockingly, there are no actual dragons yet. And I got about halfway through pilot training before I was medically disqualified. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine, is what it is. One day I will write a dragon rider story. And then a griffin popped into my head and said, ha, bet. And I'm like, well, okay. So 3 years ago, I don't know how time works anymore because, but it was getting real close to the due date for the Baen Fantasy Adventure Award contest. And I was feeling so smug. I am not stressing about this year. I have no ideas. I have no time. And it's maybe 10 days before the cutoff. And I woke up with a griffin in my head and an idea. And I wrote that story in 2 days.
Holy cow.
And I got second place. So I'm like, I've got something here.
Yeah.
And that story was expanded into Rise from Ruin. And
was that the practical joke story that you were talking about? The short, no, just a short version of the Rise from Ruin.
It was essentially a condensed version of the first half of Rise from Ruin.
Nice.
And like I said, I was so convinced I was gonna write a dragon rider story. I was like, this is gonna be amazing. And then but what if? What if? And yeah. Felix is so much fun to write. His voice is so strong.
Yeah.
I am 100% convinced that if I didn't write, I would be in a padded room at this point because all the voices are having as much fun as I am.
He's got, Felix has this really fun personality. It comes across in the audiobook and just in the narrative. He's very distinctive. It's not one of those companions that just kind of meld in the background. He's just got this distinctive kind of fun, playful voice. Yeah.
I'm cracking up at the comment of moo.
Yeah.
So the reason for the mooing is, like everybody else, griffins really love steak. They love cows because they want to eat them. But dragons have priority on cows because dragons are a lot bigger. So griffins don't usually get cows. They usually get chickens or pigs because who doesn't love bacon?
Yeah.
But at some point in book 2, Harper, which I'm editing now for release.
Yeah, I was going to say book 2 isn't out yet, is it?
No, but it will be soon. But at some point, Harper decides to tell her griffin, just pretend the chickens are cows. Maybe they'll taste better. So he moos at them aggressively.
Yeah. Does it work? Do they taste like cows after he moves at them?
I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So at least it's fun, right?
Exactly. And Felix is fun. He is so much fun to write, and he steals every scene he's in. Not sad about it.
Yeah. I think what really makes Felix is that, you know, Harper's pretty serious. She's a pretty serious person. And then Felix is just like not.
They are an interesting pair.
They are. Okay, so you were in the Air Force. I think we established that. And that didn't surprise me at all, especially in the first couple chapters where there is some aerial combat. That it's just really well done. And you bring this element of also anti-air batteries like Dragon Lances to the equation in a really effective way to kind of do that world building of like, how do we deal with enemy forces with dragons and griffins, worms, and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about how your military background influenced the story and how you write those fights?
So a couple things there. The check ride that we start out the book with that Harper is doing, where it's, you know, defensive maneuvers, I 100% pulled that from real life experience. One of my last flights in the T6 was a check ride where we were doing maneuvers like that, Immelman turn and barrel rolls and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun to translate that into what would that feel like on a dragon, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the weapons go, that led to some interesting research rabbit holes because I'm like, all right, what would this level of society conceivably be able to have that could handle dragons? Both like ground stuff and air combat. I'm like, what could I give my dragons that could be useful for like air to ground attacks? Because my dragons don't breathe fire because there is an element of science that goes in this fantasy, and physics are still a thing. It's why a horse-sized griffin is not big enough to fly with a rider. They can fly just fine, but not with a 100 to 200 pound human on their back. It just doesn't quite work. So one of the coolest things I've ever researched was, how do you make napalm?
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, surprisingly really easy to make, you guys. And Agent Johnson, I just want you to know, it's for a book.
I was going to say, we're going to end up on a list. Like, well, theoretically, we're going to be at Jordan Con. We'll see if they let us on a plane. Yeah. Yeah. So Steph had a question about why the dragons can't breathe fire. And so you're saying it just doesn't make sense for dragons.
There would be, so Rise from Ruin is very low magic, right? It's not the kind of fantasy where you have people like casting spells or where they have like hidden powers or anything like that. The most magical thing in the book is that soul bond between rider and companion, whether it's dragon or griffin. And
it's very Dragon Riders of Perney in that kind of aspect. Yeah.
And I would like to remind everybody that Dragon Riders of Pern was not fantasy. It was sci-fi with some serious grounding in genetic engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, they were colonists. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Anne McCaffrey did do some very cool things with how her dragons could breathe fire and everything. And with what I built, it wouldn't work, but I love what she did because holy crap, like Firestone and all that stuff. Like, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah. She just pushed that a little bit further. But I mean, you have a more diverse cast of, aerial combatants and yeah.
Ooh, Bill had a question too. Will I ever write a book about the Dragon Rider friends? So yes, I have plans for this world. This is not going to be just one series. Harper will be the main character for the Griffin Core books, but there's 2 different Dragon Rider series that I'm planning. One is a prequel series that's set, I'd say back when everything went very, very wrong in this particular world.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some post-apocalyptic vibes here on.
There is some post-apocalyptic vibes. Yep.
That's because that's what happens when Melissa reads Sword of Shannara at the same time as I'm reading Dragon Riders of Hern.
Yeah, there's that moment with the crater that made me think of some of the Shannara. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I was reading that book again. I was 11 or 12 years old, and it blew my mind when I realized that, holy crap, Terry had like created this world where it seems like it's traditional fantasy, and then you get more into it, and you're like, no, it's not. This is set thousands of years in our future. And then reading how he connected like the present day trilogy with the main storyline was just masterful. I loved it. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of an influence there too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, so you've got a Dragon Rider series that you are going to have that's earlier, and then what's your secondary one? With any plans you want to reveal on that?
The secondary one is more just a placeholder at this point. I have actual like outlines and plans for the prequel series, but which will be a little bit more mil sci-fi than fantasy.
Okay.
But the other Dragon Rider series will probably be set after Harper's time, where she gets her happy ending, because that I will torture my characters, you guys. I'm a very mean author. I make myself cry, let alone you guys. But at some point, they do get their happily ever after, because my little romance heart needs them to have that. So at that point, I'll probably like give those characters a break, and we'll start fresh with the Dragon Rider main character.
Okay. Yeah. So not going to write them at the same time in parallel. It's going to be Griffin Core and then Dragon Rider. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll keep the questions coming from the audience. I love to have questions. I've got a few more of my own, but I've got a break here in our questions for anything you've got. So if you've got a question, put it in the chat and we'll make sure we hit it. One of the things that strikes me is the camaraderie between Harper and her fellow writers. There's just great chemistry and banter between them, like competitively, like they're kind of competitive in this like war college, right? But they've got this like brotherhood, sisterhood that develops between the characters. And honestly, that is maybe a departure from Anne McCaffrey. I mean, there's definitely a brotherhood of Dragon Riders, but it's not quite this like fun banter sort of aspect of it. Do you want to talk a little bit about where that comes from and what you're pulling from there?
Real life, man. That is 100% real life experience. The thing is with anything military, as far as I'm concerned, you can get some of the tactics wrong, you can get strategy wrong, but if you can't capture that essence of your brothers and sisters in arms, that military banter, the dark humor, it's going to be a miss for me as a reader. It was really important for me to try and capture that. If I'm writing military at all, whether it's this series or the Bronze Legion with Jason Cordova, it's foundational to military characters. We give each other shit. We joke. We really, really joke about inappropriate things that I'm not going to say here, but it's just part of it, because at the end of the day, and this is something I really emphasize with Rise from Ruin, it's not about the war itself. It's not about any kind of big ideals. It is literally about the people next to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think that we even understand why the war is happening at all in the book, which it is.
I know, but
yeah. But I mean, it is all about like, I'm doing this for the person standing next to me. Yeah. Which makes some of the things that happen just hit harder. So I'm not going to give away more spoilers than that, but we've got a few questions. Melissa, who is your own favorite character?
Oh, that's just mean, Steffi. You want to make me pick between my babies?
Pick your favorite child.
Oh my gosh. So for the Dragons or Griffins, Felix, hands down.
Yeah.
The character that was not planned initially and was not in the original short story, and who is one of my favorites is Keaton. Um, he was just a little short line in my chaos notes, my outline, where it's like one of the cadets in her new class like kind of gives her a hand up and helps her adjust, right? Even though he doesn't really want to at first. And Keaton just grew on me so much that he just became one of my favorites to write
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And he's got a really good arc in book 2.
Oh, that's exciting. All right. So there you go. Steph, it is Keaton, and Felix, I think, is got to be top of the chart. Like Felix, right? Yeah.
He's so much fun.
So Brian wants to know, what does your writing day look like? Do you follow a schedule? Are there any rituals that you have?
This is a mocha. This is all the ritual that I need because caffeine. So I don't write full time. I have a day job. I am a systems accountant, which means that I don't really do accounting stuff. I more problem solve for a living, which is super great because it lets me use the other side of my brain that isn't crazy. So I write chaotically. Really, it's okay. I've got my lunch break. I've got a break here. I've got 10 minutes here where the kids are not like banging down my door, sometimes literally. My husband does do a lot of travel for his job. So I have a lot of nights where, okay, the kids are in bed. I've got nothing to do but watch TV, read a book, or write. And usually I pick writing. So I do not have a constant schedule or steady schedule or even a sane one. But as we've established, I'm crazy at this point. So
You definitely got the chaotic good sort of vibe going on here. Depending on the chapter, maybe a little evil.
just a little.
So with that, are you writing kind of every day? Are you writing a little bit every day?
So this is one thing that I caution people about. Like you can never compare yourself to somebody else, to what they can do, because we all have different seasons of life, right? I could not have written like this when my kids were younger. They've graduated from me needing to constantly take care of them to more refereeing the preteen sass. But my brain, I understand a little bit of how it works. I can set a goal, like, all right, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day, and I'll hit it. Whether or not that's a good thing is another question entirely. It's very much a double-edged sword. I form habit patterns easily, which makes it really, really great when I want to work out more, or I want to write more. But then if I don't hit those goals, then my brain goes, you're trash, you're awful, you're horrible. So I have to be real careful. And some things that work one year might not work the next day. So it's just a matter of figuring out what's healthy and what works, and trying to maintain balance when I have a full-time job, 2 kids, a husband that occasionally wants me to pay attention to him, and multiple projects going on at the same time. So like I said, caffeine is my friend.
Yeah. Well, Sean wants to know, do you have any other traditional fantasy creatures that have been engineered? I'm assuming, Sean, in this series, or I guess in general, in your books in general.
Do I have any other traditional fantasy creatures that have been engineered? So one of the things I love playing with this particular world is, if there is genetic engineering, we're not going to just stop at dragons and griffins, are we? Are we going to have other things like the Kyrene that are in the Smoke Mountains? Yup. Are we going to have potentially dire wolves? Y'all, we
already have those. Yeah.
Yes. I want the big puppies. I would also like everybody to know that one of my favorite movies from back in the day is Tremors.
Okay.
That
so
might be relevant at some point. So yes, there are also going to be things that we discover in this world. The first trilogy is going to be pretty close with Tennyson and Savinia. It's going to focus on the war. The next trilogy is going to expand the world by a order of magnitude, and I cannot wait to dive into that because I have plans.
Yeah. That's exciting. Okay.
It is.
All right. Bill wants to know
Cool.
what you have against Savannah.
What do I have against Savannah? I'm sure it's a very lovely town, Bill. It's actually on my list of places I'd love to visit. Nothing personal.
There you go. There you have it, Bill. All right. So a few more questions. Keep them coming in the audience. If you've got any follow-ups, go ahead and put them in the chat. But looking online, I did some research on you, Melissa. I did my own little sleuthing, and you've got a few books out to your name. You're involved in some collaborations. Tell us a little bit about how you got your start in writing. From your bio, it sounds like you've always had the itch to tell stories, but how did you get your start?
The power of friendship. 100% can sum it up with that. So my oldest friend is Casey Morse. He is a phenomenal mill sci-fi writer. And like I said, he's my oldest friend. I met him back when I was a baby lieutenant at Moody Air Force Base. And we've been friends ever. I mean, I was in the man's wedding. Like, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
I say all that to set up the fact that I don't hear from him for like 3 years because, life happens. You go different places. I am, so there I was sitting at my day job office up in Detroit, minding my own business, when I get a message from him out of nowhere going, "Hey, could you read the short story for me?" I'm like, "Hello to you too." Sure.
Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks
Right.
for yeah.
So I read it. I give him feedback. He's like, "Hey, you should," because he remembered that I used to like, I like writing and everything. And he's like, "Have you heard about this NaNoWriMo thing?" Which was, the whole write 50,000 words or a novel in the month of November. And I'm like, "Nano what now?" Okay, sure. So I tried it. I sent him my word vomit, and he's like, "Not bad. Hey, just so you know, Chris Kennedy Publishing, CKP, which is a excellent small press. It's where I got my start. It's where Marisa Wolf got her start. Casey Azell, she didn't get her start there. She got started at Bain, but that's one of the places that she writes for." And he's like, "So they have an open call for this anthology, and it's urban fantasy, which that's my jam. And you should write a story for it." I'm like, "Yeah, I could do this. Heck yeah. When's it due?" 2 weeks.
So you like those tight timelines, is what I'm hearing.
It seems to be a pattern, right?
Yeah.
My story got accepted, and then I got to do a few more anthologies, one of which was in the Salvage Title universe. And 7 of my novels are in the Salvage Title universe created by Kevin Steverson. 3 of them are co-written with his son, Nick Steverson, who is my best friend and evil twin. Think Office Space meets Pirates of the Caribbean with hyenas as main characters. And by hyenas, I absolutely mean the hyenas from The Lion King.
Okay. Yeah. Chaotic evil sort of vibes.
My main character in that one, Maddie, definitely likes to light things on fire. I don't know why. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But the other completed series I have in there is my Salvage Bunny series, which is what happens when Melissa gets real mad at season 8 of Voltron on Netflix.
Yeah, it was frustrating. It was.
We pretend season 8 did not happen.
Yeah, just write it off. Just set it aside.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
I also got to write in the Four Horsemen universe. I got a little salty about all the dropship pilots just dying left, right, and center, just as a not necessarily plot device, but it's like, yeah, they're gonna die. I'm like, no, I'm writing one from the POV of a dropship pilot, and she lives. Spoiler.
That's good. That's good.
Is.
Yeah.
And then finally, after all these many years, all 3 of them at that point, I got to do a co-write with Casey Morse, who brought me into this insanity in the first place in Bill Fawcett's Blood and Armor series, which
nice.
That was so much fun. I mean, it wasn't fun for our characters, but for me, it was fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna ask you a little bit about that co-author situation, but we do have a question from Stargazer. They're asking, on the nitty-gritty side, how clean are your submissions compared to what you get back for the editing pass? For instance, how heavy are the edits on Griffin Core 2? Yeah.
Okay, so let me think how to answer that. I have a pretty good team of first readers. Marisa Wolf, Casey Azell, Boy Casey, Casey Morse, Jason Cordova, like Charlie Cox. We have a pretty good system of we'll read for each other and we'll give each other feedback. It really helps clean it up and tighten things up before we actually officially submit something. So highly recommend having first readers before you officially submit. It's very helpful because you become blind to your own words. And unless you set it aside for like a good couple of weeks, you're not going to catch things. So one, having first readers that you trust, whose opinion that you value, game changing, right?
Yeah.
How heavy are my edits on Griffins? 2 white dragons are better. Still my favorite guess as to what the title was. I did a reel on that a couple weeks ago. Months? I don't know. The edits themselves are not heavy. They're not. It is more an excellent, like, just polish and tweak and tighten here, there, and everywhere. And that's the thing with getting edits back. Give yourself just a few minutes or hours to feel your feelings and go, I'm trash. My writing's trash. Everything is trash. And then go, okay, I turned in a good story.
Yeah.
Now it's time to make it better.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't really, at the end of the day, if you have a kick-ass editor like Tony Weiskopf, like editing your book, one, just go, holy crap, what is my life? And two, be grateful that you get those kind of edits because it's going to make your story just sing. And I love it so much. It's work, but it's good work.
I think a lot of young writers are afraid of getting edits back, or they're afraid of that editing process. And it really is like, it's like a masterclass in like improving your writing.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror. So it sounds like you've got to.
Dude, I did a reel the other day where like I'm going through like the 5 stages of getting edits back. And I play it off as a joke, but it is also legit. There's the excitement, there's the horror, there's the depression, there's the drinking. But, give yourself the time to feel those feelings, have those friends or poor spouses that you can just vent and cry at and go, God, I suck. And then, dust yourself off, play some Eminem because he's amazing, and, do the work.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like it's going to make the story better and everybody wins. So you got to put aside the ego and but this is my trash. Don't touch my trash. Put it aside. Put your head down, do the work. Cry a little if you need to.
Get it done. Yep. Bill says Melissa is so good that every editor is hard on her because she has more that she can do. So that was nice.
Bill, you cannot make me cry on a live podcast. It's not cool.
Keep it coming, Bill. This is good drama.
Gonna hide and stuff.
All right. So my question, are you a pantser or a plotter?
Yes.
Yeah. Talk me through that. I when you were describing how you write, in my head I was thinking, how do you keep track? How do you keep track of where you're going?
So yes, I am both a pantser and a plotter. I am a plotzer. I don't know. There's a weird word that's like I'm in between. I will come up with a overall plot. I don't detail it down to the chapter or anything like that. I just know here's where I'm starting, here's where I'm ending, here are the major things that I need to hit, themes, all that stuff. And then I have chaos notes. And I actually call them chaos notes because there is no order to it. There is no rhyme. There is no reason. It is just my brain going, ooh, what if we did this or that? Or I'll have character dialogue pop in my head. And I'm like, well, I'm writing this down because if I don't, I'm going to lose it. Yes, planter. Thank you. Thank you so much. So when I'm getting ready to write, which I'll be getting ready to write Griffins 3 in another month or so, getting ready, not actually starting, just to be clear. I'll have the outline, which I already have done, but then I'll start adding chaos notes in an entirely separate document. My process is weird. It works for me. do with this what you will, but I'll take all those chaos notes. And when I start, no kidding, hearing the characters in my head and I start writing the beginning of the book in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. I've got enough. I've let it marinate long enough in my subconscious that I can write this book now. Then the fun begins. I take my bare outline and I start fitting those chaos notes into the outline where they belong. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll adjust the outline because I'm like, no, this particular note is too freaking good not to include. So how can I adjust what I want to do to include it?
How do I fold it in there? Yeah, I like that.
So it's a combination of like letting my subconscious do its thing, writing down whatever pops into my brain, and then organizing it before I really dive in. And even when I'm writing, you guys, like I don't really get disorganized, but I do, like, usually at the bottom of the actual manuscript, I have a line that says chaos notes at the bottom, and I will just dump stuff there because I have found a really neat trick for my brain that currently works. It's where I put a little dash in the manuscript, and then my brain, it calms down to where I don't have to write pretty. I can just dump whatever is in my brain out onto the page. And usually like 1 or 2 sentences into this word vomit, I'll actually start writing smoothly and I get to keep most of it. But just by making it a note, it lets my brain just relax and just vomit out the words. And then I'll use it later. But every time I start getting worried about how long one of my manuscripts is getting, because I don't write short, I can hear Bill laughing from here. I'll just remind myself, like, I've got 3,000 to 10,000 words of chaos notes at the bottom of this document. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine.
So when you edit, do you tend to pull stuff out or are you adding to it?
Yes.
Yeah. All over the place. Yeah.
One of the biggest things I'm going to have to do with Tempered by Fire, which is the sequel, is pull stuff out. Tony very appropriate she was like, look, you've probably got like 1 or 2 lines on every page that you could cut just to tighten it up a little bit. Because it's, I mean, at this point, I'd say I'm probably journeyman status, right? I am still learning, and I am going to be learning for a very long time, like until I'm dead. Like if I stop learning, then I'm doing something wrong. So there's always things that I can improve on, and not writing 170,000 word novels, probably one of them.
I mean, that's the trend. You just need to write a lit RPG. Everybody expects it to be 200,000 words.
So. I've seen that. I am really looking forward to diving into some of those books. Dungeon Crawler Carl is it's up next.
Yeah, there you go. You're gonna fall down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jeff is asking if this is maybe a 4-book trilogy, pushing for a few more books.
There's a running joke that any trilogy at Baen is a Baen trilogy, which means it's 4 books at least. No, I do have a contract for 3. And what I have plotted out for this series is 3 trilogies where it's, we've got the war, we've got expanding the world, and then we have something else, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear about it.
Plans, like I said.
Yeah. Well, if you've got any last questions, please pop them in. We've got about 10-15 minutes left. So put them in there and we'll ask. So I noticed in your back catalog, we're talking through it. You've got a lot of like military science fiction or science fiction in general. And this one, I mean, yeah, there's maybe the science background, but it is really kind of comes across more of a fantasy realm sort of book. What are some of the pros and cons of the genres? Do you have a favorite child?
So I don't necessarily have a favorite. I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. I grew up reading both. I grew up watching both. To me, it's if you talk with Ben Yallo, who is like the memory of genre fiction, like there didn't used to be a distinction between the two, not really.
Yeah.
So to me, fantasy is always going to be an easier writing for me. Like it's just my brain has to work harder in sci-fi, especially if I'm actually paying attention to physics and like
And
a
science, yeah, the science
little
part
bit
of
more,
science fiction. Yeah.
right? So my Salvage Bunny series, it's like I call that sci-fi light because there's space magic. Like, there's nanites and there's really cool, neuro links with AIs. And okay, I went a little light on the science there, guys. Like, but other books where it's like, okay, no, this is super secret project stuff that nobody knows yet. But I had to work for that book. Like, I learned tactics. I learned Navy stuff. I learned physics. I don't like physics. I was told there'd be no math. This is bull. But it's a different writing
Yeah.
style where like it's still me. It's still my voice. But fantasy just it flows easier. So there's definitely a pro there. But sci-fi is so much fun too. So really, you cannot go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's fun. So what sort of research, I mean, you talk about some of the research you've done for some of the science fiction. What research have you done specifically for your fantasy side? How does that
Well,
research differ?
we
Besides
already
napalm.
napalm, which
Yeah.
was really great.
Yeah.
I mean, we got down to like, okay, you need these ingredients. Where can we find those ingredients? Oh, like no kidding. Like oh, okay, I know where to find those ingredients now. Awesome.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Other things I've had to research is, without giving too much away, there's some geography things I had to research. And okay, I cheated a little bit. I cheated a lot because I'm a horse girl. I 100% leaned into that with this book because there's a saying, right? Like if you get the gun stuff wrong, like the gun nuts are going to come out, and they got nothing on the horse girls if you get the horse stuff wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Like
I've got one of my best friends is a horse girl, and I call her quite frequently for horse girl stuff. Yeah.
that's perfect. And that was one of the things with designing the academy, the Tennyson Bonded Training Academy. I'm like, you're only going to have so many instructors there. So what conceivably would they use to teach riding, which is conceivably the most important thing, that they have to learn? Like, we're going to have horses. I get to use horses. Heck yes. So
yeah,
that was a lot of fun. I didn't really have to do much research because
because you're a horse girl. Yeah, you are the horse girl on speed dial for your friends.
Sometimes it's about like leaning into your strengths, but I was on a panel with Christopher Racchio at MarsCon last year, and we got to talk about this a little bit. And it's a matter of, okay, I know all this freaking cool stuff. Let's put the brakes on just a little bit and not like data dump stuff that the readers really don't care about and the story doesn't need. So when you do know a lot about a topic, you got to be real careful not to lean into that, too hard.
Yeah. Actually, I have that problem. I'm a fencer. I've taught fencing, so I know a lot about sword fighting, which is actually weirdly made fight scenes with swords super difficult for me because I do want to dig into the nitty gritty, and nobody cares what a second intention action is.
Well, now I know who I need to contact when I have questions about fighting with stabby stabs. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And if your horse girlfriend is not available, happy to help.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll have to talk after this. Yeah. So, all right. Well, it's a 3-book series is what you're in contract for. And we've got a question. Can that change what you agree on contract? So could it be a 4-book series if it takes off, to the point where, I think you're with Bain, right? Where
Yes.
they're like, oh, we want 4 books. Is that something that happens?
Sorry, like sometimes I'm still like, what even is my life? Like how cool is this? I don't know specifics on contracts. I more just imagine that if it sells well, go buy my books, y'all. If it sells well enough, then I'll get another contract for hopefully another trilogy. We'll see what happens. As far as like contracts actually getting amended or whatnot.
Yeah. That's for the lawyers. We need the lawyer friend to answer that question.
Right.
Well, what's next for you? So you got book 2 in edits, you're writing book 3, any other side projects? What is the timeline for book 2 look like?
Oh God, there are so many things right now. I don't sleep much, you guys. So the secrety secret project that I cannot talk about yet because there hasn't been a press release. That one I finished. That my goal was to finish that, get the draft done before I got edits back for Griffins 2. Hooray! I
Done.
managed it. I finished
Milestone
it.
achieved. Yeah.
Yep. So I got edits back for that one from people.
Mhm.
And I was told by people to set that aside and handle my dev edits on Griffins 2. So we're gonna put that over there. I'm gonna do edits on Griffins 2, which I'm working on now. And in the midst of all that, Jason Cordova and I are hard at work on the sequel to Bronze Legion. So it's going to be Bronze Legion to Tread Obsidian Shores was book 1 because Jason loves his pretentious titles and he has his reasons for it. He really, really loved David Drake's stuff and David Weber's stuff, so he's leaning into that, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So book 2 is Vessels Grim and Daring, and it's guys, we're like over 40,000 words into it, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have that book somewhere, but I don't. It migrated to my other desk. So Bronze Legion is out. It came out like 3 weeks ago now. It's doing really well. It's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about how those collaborations, like, does one person write in a chapter and the other person kind of does dev edits? Do you switch back and forth, or is it like a complete? Yeah. How does this work?
So every time it's different, right? Like it's different with every co-author. Sometimes it can be different from project to project. Jason and I work really well together. One, because we're both crazy, but we're crazy in the same way. And we really lean into the chaos aspect of it. Specifically with Bronze Legion, I write Blue, Lieutenant Astra Blue Eliason, who is a dropship pilot. And he writes Tavi, who is our young Legionnaire, a private, straight into the military and all wide-eyed and like, what even is this? So we have 2 separate storylines that are happening at the same time, and we call it puzzle piecing, where we'll write different scenes and we'll be like, okay, now we got to fit this together. Crap, but it's fun. It is so much fun. Other times, I've written with people like Nick Steverson, where we would just trade the document back and forth, and he mostly wrote his main POV character Reggie. I mostly wrote Maddie. But we had other characters that we would both write, and we would smooth over each other's sections and blend it really well. So it just depends on.
Just depends.
Yeah.
Do you set up more of a framework for where the story's going when you're writing with a co-author? Yeah.
Sometimes it's as honestly, like nobody I've worked with, we haven't ever really done like a super detailed outline. Communication is what saves us. And by like communication, I mean, we be on the phone every day. Our spouses are super great and understanding of the fact that it's like, hey, love you so much, but I gotta talk Legionnaire stuff with Jason, or I gotta talk hyenas with Nick, or I gotta talk, armored troops with Casey. It's just that's the key though. If you're gonna write like that, you gotta talk with your co-author, and when you hit a snag, you got to put aside the ego again. There's a lot of that, right? Where you got to put aside the ego and you got to be like, all right, you're thinking this, I'm thinking this. Let's see how we can make that a yes and situation, or a you're right. Dang it. Okay.
It's almost like you need a therapist for the co-author relationship. Somebody to, yeah.
Ooh, more questions. Yay. Yes, Griffins 2, Tempered by Fire is out from Bain on 7 July of this year.
That's exciting.
It is so exciting. There's a pre-order link, and I might have early copies at LibertyCon. I don't know. I will find out. I think so. That is really close because LibertyCon's towards the end of June, so I think I should have some early copies.
That's exciting. All right. Okay, so that begs the next question of where are you going to be in 2026? So uh, I heard a rumor that you're coming to Jordan Con.
Yes! I am so excited to get to go back. I went for the first time last year with Marisa, and we had a ball. Holy crap, it was so much fun. We had our vendor table, with the not vendor like in the vendor hall, but it was more like the author alley.
Mhm.
And we hung out there all weekend in between panels, and it was just chaotic fun. This year, I think I will be there, possibly with two preteens in tow, but you know what? It's fine. It's a good crowd. I can turn them loose and not worry about them. And also, they're pretty good at hustling, so I'll just put them in charge of the table if I get one.
That's that's amazing. I've actually talked to my daughter about maybe coming to Lit RPG Con to run the table.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's July, I think, right?
Mhm.
Casey's
Yeah.
plans to go to that one.
Yeah, it's in July. Yep. So you've got Jordan Con and it sounds like Liberty Con. What other cons are you going to?
So I'm in Memphis, and so my home con is Mid South Con, and I believe that's in March. I do need to contact them and see if they want me back as an attending pro at some point here real soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
March is like 2 months away, girl.
no, it doesn't feel like it. This is why we don't do time math, but at the same time, it feels like we've been stuck in January forever. So this
Mhm.
is what it is. But outside of those two, Dragon Con.
Yeah.
I am so excited. I got accepted as an attending pro for the second year in a row, and I'm just
Oh, congratulations. Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
huge.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. It is so cool because we're always so busy at all the conventions at this point. And it's so great getting to talk to everybody and just have fun and cackle. I mean, really, anytime one of the Pharaoh ladies, me, Marisa, or Casey is at a convention, just listen for the cackling. You'll find us.
I love it. It's good. It's good when you're having fun and you've got friends and yeah, it's a blast.
It
So,
is.
well, what's the best time? Like where, so Melissa, I'm a Melissa fan. Where should I find you online? Are you on Facebook, TikTok,
I'm
Patreon?
everywhere. Like, so we kind of talked about this a little bit before. Like, man, social media is like it's taken over our lives,
Yeah.
and it's just the way we have to market ourselves these days. And I generally have a great time doing it. I spend way too much time on Instagram, going down rabbit holes there, but I try and do something every day. So I'll post it on Instagram, on Facebook, which at least those two make it super easy to share things.
Mhm.
I'm on X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it. I am very reluctantly on TikTok.
Yeah.
Mostly don't like
TikTok's hard for the millennial crowd.
it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am on all the places. Everybody can always find me on Facebook. I have a website, melissaolthoff.com or .net. You can find me on Bane's website. You can find me on CKP's website. And the CKP books are going to be all on Amazon, and Bane books everywhere books are sold.
Yeah. All right. One more question for you. If you had a book to add to Pop Pop's TBR, so you're recommending a book to somebody, what would your current recommendation be?
Oh my God. Okay. So can I do two?
Yeah.
3, 4,
Yeah.
5? This is so hard.
Let's
Okay.
cap it at, let's do two. Your two
Okay.
recommendations right now.
Fine. Okay. So one that is not connected to anybody I know. So, it's like, it's not motivated by anything else. I devoured Red Rising like in a day. That
Yeah.
book was amazing. So highly recommend that one. If y'all haven't read it yet, it was so good. I can't wait to read the rest of them.
Yeah.
The other one I would recommend, since you're making me only do two, fine.
I know.
I'm gonna have to go with Plague of Magic by Marisa Wolf because I loved Tiny Angry Dragon so much. And yes, I'm giving you guys zero context on who or what Tiny Angry Dragon is. Just know that if you like dragons who are tiny and angry, and maybe magic that is a plague upon people, then you might want to check out her book, which I have read 4, 5. I've lost track of how many times I've read it, but it's really good.
That's exciting. That is actually my next read, because
Yes!
I'm interviewing Marissa on February 2nd. So the next Beyond Quest is with Marissa, and we're talking about Plague of Magic. So that's my read for the next week. So I'm sure it's going to be it's very exciting. Yeah,
it's going to be so good. And by all means, if you need to shriek at anybody while you're reading that book, please DM me.
Okay, I will. I'm like, oh my gosh, the tiny dragons. Yeah.
We love that. Live reacts, you all. Oh my God, live reacts are the best. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited. So if you're reading along with me, pick up Plague of Magic. I'm getting started pretty much tomorrow. So read it with me. And both Melissa and I are on TikTok. You can follow us and maybe get some live reacts out of reading Plague of Magic. It'll be fun. We'll do this together. So
I love it. It's a plan.
Yeah.
I'll read it for the 6th time.
Yeah. Well, we are very timely tonight. It's 8 o'clock. So thanks everybody for joining. I've got the Reck and Pop show next Tuesday. We'll be talking about all of our reads for January. It's been a little bit since Pop and I caught up. And then my next Beyond Quest podcast will be with Marissa Wolf, Plague of Magic, February 2nd. So see you all then. I
didn't even know that. I swear to God, you guys.
Yeah, it's almost like we paid you, and it just completely out of the blue. So thank you so much for joining, Melissa. It was lovely to talk to you tonight.
Thanks for having me. I'm now losing my voice, so this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, we're both still able to talk. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night.